Hi everyone, it's Pedro Baez from Go for Glory Stable. I'm the managing partner and founder of Go for Glory Stable, and basically what this group is it's a fractional ownership group where we basically offer a platform to allow people to invest in horses and race horses, and as little as 1% of that horse, usually up to around 25% of the horse. The horses are typically stabled and racing in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, in that area. We do have some horses in Ohio and Ontario, and we might have horses in other states in the future too. But right now, really just the Northeast, and basically just people who they want to try a different type of investment. They're kind of getting a little bored, or they want to just do something a little different from the stock market or real estate or crypto or commodities or whatever it is that they're investing in, and they just want to do something a little different. And racehorses is definitely different. It's like owning a sports team essentially. That's why I love it, and you meet a lot of new people, you learn a lot about the industry, and it's a lot of fun. And you can also make money if you have a little luck. So that's Go for Glory Stable. If you like, please like or subscribe these videos as it helps the channel to grow. And like I said, this is the baby video update for the past week. So with that being said, let's get into it. All right. So I guess before we get into the specifics of the horses, so I just wanted to right now is the main focus is we got a lot of race horses going. We got 2-year-olds that are racing right now that we'll get into in a minute. But this time of year starts getting tricky. So it's getting tricky in that we have to start thinking about next year already. So it's kind of like um, it's a little bit different than like sports teams where the season ends and then they have a draft. Then the next season begins. In horse racing, this in harness, both thoroughbreds and harness racing, the season doesn't end. So like we still have horses racing. We're still buying and selling horses all the time. We're still racing them every week. This week we raced a bunch this week. And then at the same time, you have to kind of start thinking, all right, well, we got to start preparing a game plan for the draft, because I call it the draft, or yearling sales, which is 1-year-old horse sales, coming up this month, next month. So basically between August and November, we're going to have a boatload of yearling sales where we're trying to draft the next potential superstar. And the good thing about the draft is good horses come from anywhere. So you can have a $5,000 horse become great. It's happened before. You can have $1 million horse do nothing. It happened before too. So it's the reason why you have to be in it. And when I say have to be in it, meaning you can't have your whole portfolio or stable of babies. You could, but that's like horse racing is already risky as it is. If you're gonna put your whole eggs in one basket with babies, you just gotta be prepared that you're not gonna have a lot. It's gonna be a lot of wait time, a lot of downtime, and just like a lot of risk. So just keep that in mind that you always want to have exposure to yearlings and stakes racing. I just would say try to keep that to be like a minority part of your stable, like 25%, 40%, something like that. You don't want it to be more than 50% of your stable being yearlings. Just you could get lucky, and then you say, "Wow, that was the smartest thing in the world." But I'm just telling you from past experience, it's so risky that you're better off trying to having a nice kind of team of racehorses. And I say racehorses meaning horses that are currently racing, older horses that are racing, making money. They're kind of giving getting you to the winner's circle, whatever. Hopefully making some money on them, and then while that's going on, you got the draft picks or the prospects in the background, kind of learning and developing, and then you're praying one of them might be the greatest thing, or just pray that one of them might just be really good, or pray that some of them just solid. So just to kind of different levels. But anyway, so that's kind of what's going on right now. We're preparing for the yearling season. The first sale coming up is actually uh, about a week and some change from now, a little over a week from now. It's a blooded horse sale in Ohio, August 26th, and there's really just one horse we're looking from there that potentially we might do. It kind of fits what we're looking for, as far as what our kind of overall game plan for yearlings and stakes racing. Hoping to not really go more than 20 to 30 grand, and you're probably like, wow, that's a lot of money, but remember, this is fractional ownership, so if the horse goes for $20,000 and you want 1%, that's only $200. So if you want 10%, that's $2,000. So you can. It's not. When I say 20,000, doesn't mean you have to pay 20,000. Everyone just kind of gets a piece of it, kind of like like a stock. When you buy a stock, you don't own the whole company. You just buy like a tiny percent of that company. So anyway, that's the story. So our first yearling sale is next week, or a week and a little bit over a week from now, and then we have the Goshen yearling sale, which is in New York, about a month from now. So on September 15th. So we're going to be looking at horses in both of those sales. We're going to be looking at horses in private sales, meaning just directly with breeders and such. So just don't be surprised if you start seeing some communications like, oh, we just bought this yearling, who wants in, this and that. That's going to start happening. So just keep that in mind. Like, usually, the season's a little bit, we're kind of gearing up mainly for Massachusetts right now, so it's a little bit slow from a baby side, because the Massachusetts Sire Stakes are in September and October. But just kind of keep the long-term vision in mind, that we got to start thinking about the yearlings and thinking about getting these prospects. And basically, I'm just going to quickly go through how it works. When we do get the yearling, it's not like they go into how do I say this? When we get the yearling, it's a whole process. So basically, between now, they probably won't even be in training for the next month or two. If we were to get a yearling right now, they probably wouldn't start their training until October or November. And when I say start their training, it's not even training. It's just teaching them how to go left, go right, go forward, go back, how to put the equipment on, how to listen to instructions, things like that. Like all that stuff. That would begin probably like September, October time frame. They wouldn't really become in training, like meaning going like kind of like fast miles, probably until like January. So between now and then, they'll just be more jogging, just doing a lot of jogging, like tons of miles in them, like 4 miles or just a lot of miles every day in them, just kind of building up their cardiovascular system. But and just basically just learning to wear, like you see this horse right here wearing all this equipment. They're just kind of learning how to, that it's okay to wear this equipment. It's okay to have a driver behind you. It's okay to have a trainer kind of handling you. So that's kind of how the process goes. So it's different than like if we buy a racehorse today and then we put it in a race next week. That racehorse already knows. He or she already knows like how to wear the equipment, how the whole tracks look, how racing goes. They're accustomed to it all. So that's the process where if you buy a yearling, even if we get a yearling now, there's not a lot of training. So in other words, the costs are a lot lower between now and January, just because, like I said, there's not these fast training miles and things like that. So but that's kind of the process. I'm going to keep kind of giving you snippets of how the process goes. But from our perspective, it's more like finding the right yearling that we want to take a chance on. Does it make sense for our overall strategy? And then basically we'll go from there. So as far as this week, so we had Adios My Lindy. Let's jump right to the horses. Adios My Lindy. She qualified. There's no video, unfortunately. She qualified at Vernon Downs on Friday. And as you see, our trainer, Paul Kelly, was in the bike himself. And as you can see here, she went 103 and 2 first half, 205 back half. So that's about 103. That's about 101 and 3. 103 and 2. 101 and 3, which it's not that fast. But 205 is not very fast. Just to give you like Geologic, his first qualifier was in 159, 6 seconds faster. So the key here is she trotted. That's the most important thing by far. She finished strong. It was a 2-horse qualifier, so you can't really, it's hard to really gauge anything from a 2-horse qualifier. It's almost like a training mile. But the key is she is qualified. She did not break. She minded her manners. She was very good. Paul said she was very good. So that's kind of the big thing from that regard. And the next plan is Paul Kelly, he said he thinks Plainridge is going to write a 2-year-old a 2-year-old race for 2-year-olds only, basically 11 days from now, so on August 28th. So he's targeting Adios Marlindi for that. So if he's targeting Adios Marlindi for that 11 days from now, that tells me she's not going to qualify again. He's just going to probably go right to that race, which is interesting because he usually does 2 qualifiers. But we're kind of, like I said in the previous week's videos, we're getting kind of the crunch time right now, and Plainridge hasn't been riding a lot of 2-year-old races specifically. So if they do ride it, we gotta try to get in there versus what we're going to deal with on Tuesday with Geologic versus older horses again. So that's the story with Adios Marlindi. Geologic, he's in to go. He's the next horse. He's the next baby. He's in to go Tuesday at Plainridge, and he has the rail. But once again, every single horse is a 3-year-old, and it's almost the same field that he was facing last time. So, as you see here, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. He's the only 2-year-old. So don't expect much. Don't expect him to be getting to the lead and trying to wire this field. These horses they're 3-year-olds. A lot of these horses have 20, 30 races in them already. They're experienced. They know what they're doing. Geologic is still learning, and he just has 1 race in him. He's just preparing for his baby career, his 2-year-old career, and his 2-year-olds. His competition is going to be going a lot slower. So his competition is going to be going 57, 157, 158, around there. These 3-year-olds are going like 156, 155-ish. So it's just a preparatory race. So don't expect him to go crazy in there, but we just want to see that he trots, he finishes strong, and then hopefully gets a little experience racing with other horses. That's kind of the key right now. Steal the Century. He raced on Saturday, so yesterday, and he was okay. He came in 6th place, and basically he had a horse kind of interfere with him on in the backstretch, but then he never broke or anything, and he kept pacing, and but like I said, he didn't really. He just kind of finished 6th. He didn't really catch up to the field and stuff. So he was okay. We got to see what Paul Reed says. It's one of those things where that level, that prospect series, isn't it's not a very strong level. So we just got to be careful. We got to basically see like how much that interference impacted him, because if it impacted him to the point that he was going to be top 3, that's a different story. So we just got to talk to Paul Reed, kind of understand what he's thinking, and then we'll kind of go from there. But the horses in general, they got to be a little bit better. We need better performance from our horses than kind of what we're seeing so far from Steal the Century. So that's kind of the story right now for Steal the Century. The second chapter, he's just gonna have a couple of training workouts this week, and Paul's just trying to figure out when he's going to get him back to Vernon to do like a fast mile. So he's still a ways away. That tells me, if he's going to do training miles this week, second to last week of August, and, maybe we'll get a fast mile at the end of August, that tells me we probably won't. He's probably not going to qualify until September is what I'm thinking. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe it'll happen sooner. But if that's the plan, that he's training this week, and then maybe next week we'll go for a fast mile at Vernon, that tells me he's probably going to be a September type of qualifier, qualifier horse. So that's just kind of how it goes sometimes. He was set back with the curb that he had in his leg that he had to get frozen. He lost a lot of time, and he was set back with the castration that happened late in the season that he needed to get done. So that's kind of how racing goes. Like I'm saying, the yearlings is not like a racehorse. You don't buy, the yearlings, you don't buy a yearling and then they're good to go right away. There's a whole process that goes into it. Whereas, you claim a horse one night from Yonkers, it can race the next week at Yonkers. Completely different. So, but the upside potential is completely different too. So, with that being said, the second chapter, he's right on. He's doing fine. There's no issues. He's moving along. It's just he was kind of set back and he lost a lot of time from those the curb that he had to get frozen and the castration. So, but he's doing fine. He just Paul's working with him. So, with that being said, this is the baby video, and yeah, good luck to everyone with your horses. Thank you.